Yo, I feel led to say this real quick, but stop chasing. Um, I got a, I just saw something on Instagram and there's a lot of people who I know who have done things. I'm definitely proud of them for accomplishing what they have. But at the same time, I think that what we've started to see kind of in social media world, I shouldn't even say that we started to see, we've been seeing this, but motivation to some extent has gone beyond just kind of getting people to put their best foot forward. And it's almost become like it's almost become like a type of classism, so to speak, right? If you're not an entrepreneur, if you haven't made a certain amount of money, then individuals kind of position themselves as if like, yo, they're the ones that get it. They're the ones that understand. And, anybody else who hasn't done the same hasn't. Some of these things are so complex. One of my frustrations, I would even say, right? And sorry if I sound like I'm all over the place, because my thoughts are a little bit all over the place because I have so many of them pertaining to this. One of my frustrations is that a lot of folks who fall into this trap, in my opinion, some of them tend to be Christian individuals. And I just think that it's, one of the things that many of us who are Christian believe, right, is, there's a need for us to be content with what we have, whether we have, some of us are blessed to have much, others are blessed to have little, but whatever it is that you do have, we learn to be content in that. And I feel like a lot of what I see that's supposed to be motivation, or that's supposed to be, entrepreneurial education, I feel like sometimes, or I think in a big way, it's starting to go beyond that. And it's almost kind of like, well, your identity is shaped by this. And almost like, well, if you haven't gotten on this wave, then there's something wrong with you, per se. Or, any other way of conceptualizing how you should make your money or operate your life, or what you should put first, or providing for your family. All of those things are treated as like substandard. All right. And I just think that, there's a place for us to be able to say, thank God for those who he has allowed to be millionaires, for those who he has allowed to, be influential, create, big businesses, amazing businesses. But let's not belittle, right, the other ways, the other things that people have chosen to make priority. And many times rightfully so, right? Let's not forget about the fact that, shoot, yes, you can do all you can to try to start a business or what have you, but there's no guarantee that that business idea will work. And it could be the same exact business idea as somebody else. Maybe you just started it a split second too fast, or maybe, a social media algorithms, because, those things exist today. Maybe that didn't go your way. Maybe you just didn't have the same kind of time that somebody else has. I know everybody says like, Beyonce got the same 24 hours as you. I'm like, no, she doesn't have the same 24 hours as you in terms of the quality. And I don't use that quality in like a judgment kind of term, but in terms of, from an early age, she was given some type of direction as far as like what she could do. So her talent was discovered at an early age, right? So she can make certain types of decisions, and we're proud of her for that. But let's also not knock the person who maybe didn't find out what their talent was by a certain age, and so couldn't put in the amount of time that they could have up front. And maybe the technology just didn't even exist yet to kind of put them out there in the same type of way that somebody else may have had access to, right? There's so many different things that life, sends our way. And I just want us to not discredit, man, the fact that so many people are out there doing the best that they can with the provision that God has given them, and they are doing an excellent job, and their money may not look like, you know, 9 figures in the bank or 10 figures, you know, in the bank. Some of them, it may only look like, shoot, you got folks out there with not even 4 figures in the bank, and they trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet. And that doesn't make them any less of a parent or even any less of a provider than somebody else. And I just think like, yo, we just like, it's gotta stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, it's got to stop, because then you got people chasing, trying to do things and causing more harm. You know, we talk so much about the mental health issues that are going around, and it's because people feel like, oh, if I don't have what the Joneses have over there, or if I didn't do it in this type of way, you know, then I got to kind of do, you know, figure out the gymnastics to make certain things happen. And I know I'm probably rambling a little bit, but I just want to, and maybe that's what I'll dedicate a lot of my time to going forward, because this isn't a judgment on even those who do kind of promote or maybe unknowingly make others feel like, you know, they aren't putting in the work, for lack of a better word, that they should be. This is not to be a knock on even those individuals. And it can't be, because in some ways I see myself as having been one of those individuals, right? Whether unknowingly or unknowingly, just kind of just like, yeah, rah, 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 like, you got to be putting in this amount of work. And if you ain't putting in this amount of work, then, you know, then what are you really doing? Neglecting the, you know, that there's a time for rest. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's knowledge base is different. What God has everybody concentrating on is different. And I just want us to not discredit the various circumstances that people are working their ways through. Stop chasing, and for those who are in position to where they do have voice, those who are in position where they do have influence, stop making other people feel like they have to. And I think that's what my frustration is, right? My frustration is that a lot of people are making their money off of causing other people to feel like they need to be on the chase. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm like, y'all, chill out with that. You got people spending their money. And awesome. I'm sure some people you're able to assist, but you got other people feeling like that they spent their money and what came of it. Or like, yo, okay, so-and-so did such and such, so I'm going to jump on such and such, right? I'm going to try to do such and such. It's like, yo, slow down. Everybody's not called to this. And there's a lot of people out there who, if they weren't making you feel like you had to be chasing after something else, they wouldn't be making money. You know what I mean? So, man, just stop the chase. Put your best foot forward. Let's get back to prayer. Let's get back to seeking out what path the Lord would have for you, and not getting distracted by what the Joneses are doing, not getting distracted by what the latest influencers are doing, not getting distracted by just by all the glitz and glamour and all the shiny things that, you know, the enemy and sometimes well-meaning people who sometimes don't even realize that maybe are getting kind of like tricked out by the enemy to put out there, making you think that to simply just live your life and live it the best that you can, and in obedience to, you know, what God has for you, the best that you can, like thinking that that's not enough. Right? It gets so much of us in trouble. It gets so many people distracted for years on end. Shoot, in many ways, I even feel like I went through my own phase where I was distracted in that kind of way. And in some ways, it froze me from me really being able to take step on what I really could have been doing. So anyway, I'm ranting, I'm rambling. Hopefully something I said in there was encouraging for someone. Stop chasing. Average is failure.